Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory and fear to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. Brothers out there that's striving for salvation in these electrifying times. So what I want to get into today, in the lesson today, what I want to speak on today is about knowing the time you're in. But in order to know the time you're in, you got to identify some things so you know what's happening, so you can really see who certain people are. Because, contrary to popular belief, there's an enemy on the planet. Because the planet is supposed to be for the Hebrew Israelites, right? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, Seminole Indians, all you Latinos and Hispanics, these are bywords that were given to you. Negro, colored, black, African American, those are bywords that were given to you, placed on your head by your enemies. They conquered you, and then they placed names upon you, took you from certain parts of your land that pushed you out of your lands, pushed you out of the lands that was yours, took over those lands, and then gave you a name and took your name for themselves. And you're the Hebrew Israelites, God's chosen people. Like I said, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, you guys are God's chosen people. And you have a common enemy. The other nations, they're your enemy, but they're not your enemy like the so-called white man is, which is, his biblical name is Esau, Edom, the Edomites. They're your enemies. And the scriptures speak on that. And I'm going to bring out a couple of scriptures to identify, because we're going to find out who the so-called white man is, because he's looked at today as the leader of the earth, or leader of humanity, right? They place him as everything is the so-called white man. He claims that the Most High is so-called white. He claims that the angels are white. All the historical figures in the scriptures that were written, they're supposedly white. That's who people think they are, but they're not. The men that wrote in the scriptures and that was written about the people are primarily your Hebrew Israelites. Your 12 tribes. That's who the scriptures are about, and that's what the scriptures are for. Everything else is an identification. The other nations play a part. They're written in the scriptures, but you have to identify who the other nations are and identify who your enemy are. Who's your enemy? The first scripture I'm gonna bring out is Baruch 4:6. Actually, I'm gonna start from the top. It says, "This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die." And that's what happens. That's what's been happening to our people from generation to generation. We haven't, as a nation, as a whole, been keeping the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. That's why the curses came upon us, and that's why we're dying in these streets. That's why we suffering. The things that our people suffer is going to go into that. It says, "Turn ye, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated." Now, contrary to popular belief, the true illuminated ones are the Hebrew Israelites. Primarily, we're talking about the elect of Israel, the elect of the nation of Israel, because they're the ones that get that the Most High is giving the understanding to. They're the ones who understand and know, because the light comes from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, primarily through Yahushai. He is the light. And like he wrote in John, I believe the 17th chapter, when he was praying to the Most High, he said, "I gave these men that you gave me," roughly paraphrasing, "that I've given them your name." So the name, those who the Most High has given the name to, with faith, let me add that, because faith is an important part of knowing the name. You can know what the name is, but do you have what it takes to use the name without being convicted or confounded? Because there are going to be some people that's going to use that name because they heard it, and they think that every name that they used didn't work, so I'm gonna try this name, and they're gonna succumb to whatever they're calling the name for. So if they call a name to save them, they're gonna be destroyed. They're gonna perish because they don't have the power that comes with that name, which is faith. Faith go hand in hand with knowing the name. You got to call upon the name with faith and belief. So basically, you got people that don't even know who their enemy is, and that you're gonna need to call on that name against those enemies. But the scripture's gonna go into it. So the point I'm trying to make, I got sidetracked. The point I'm trying to make is the elect of the nation of Israel is the true Illuminati, right? Illuminati, because everybody thinks, oh, the Illuminati is this secret society, which it is. Esau thinks he thinks he is the Most High, so he took upon that name or that word for a secret society group. But you're gonna come to find out that they're not illuminated. They don't have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Most High. They don't have the power that the Most High is gonna give to His elect. They're gonna fall by that power. They're gonna fall by the ones who the Most High have put this spirit on, and eventually gonna turn from to hunters, like the scripture saying in Jeremiah. You're gonna, because the hopeful elect is fishing right now, but they're gonna be turned to hunters, and they're gonna hunt those Illuminati members, those secret societies out there that's pushing all this madness on the people, and got people thinking that they're the ones that are in power, which they are the wicked, they're the enemy. Back in the scripture it says, give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. Who is that strange nation? That strange nation is you Edomites. They're from the nation of Esau or Edom. You're that strange nation which our people has been given their power unto. Because that's who you look for everything. You go to him for every single thing you want. If you think that if you think something's a lie, but Esau tells you that it's true, you're gonna believe that it's true. If you think something is true and Esau says it's a lie, you're gonna believe that it's a lie. Our people are fickle and feeble like that. They'll believe anything the so-called white man says. Verse 6, it says, this is the point. It says, you were sold to the nations, not for your destruction. So basically, what nation of people were sold to another nation? Or sold to their enemies? Weren't not the tribe of Judah in the southern kingdom, weren't they not sold on the transatlantic slave trade? On the auction blocks? Like it's written in the curse of Deuteronomy 28 and 68? Were they not sold? Let's just get that. Matter of fact, it goes hand in hand. I'm gonna hold that. It's Deuteronomy 28 chapter. I'm gonna start. It's verse 68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So Egypt represents bondage, right? Bondage was served here in America. It was served in ancient Egypt, but also in the modern day Egypt, which is here in America. And they were used to transport our people over here by slave ships, cargo slave ships. Those how we got transported over here and went into that second bondage, went into Egypt again. It says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Talking about our homeland. There ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. The word buy you means save you. So no man shall save you. And we didn't get saved. We didn't. When our people used to go get into in slavery under these nations, our people in the past, we would pray to the Most High, and He would get us out of that. We served that hard slavery. As a nation, we went into that slavery. Talking about primarily the Southern Kingdom. But the Northern Kingdom went into slavery under the so-called white man too, and you're currently still under the slavery, under the white man right now as we speak. The only thing is, he got you got Stockholm syndrome on you so strong that you don't even know that you're in slavery. Our people, from the southern to the northern kingdom think that we're free, and you're not free. Anytime you ride up and down the street transporting yourself from one destination to the next, and the so-called white man's is revenue collectors, because that's what police officers are. They collect revenues for the city, state, and county. So they can pull you over at any time, impeding your progress from one destination to the next, asking for your credentials and your abilities to drive up and down the street, which is a form of slavery. You got to have a driver's license. You got to have registration that you purchased that vehicle, and you got to have insurance to say that you can drive that vehicle. If any time they can do that to you at any moment, and you don't have what he asking for, then you're in that's a form of slavery. You're under the rulership of another entity or another system, another system, right? And that system is controlled by the so-called white man, which is your enemy. He is the one that controls that and has the ability and power to turn your life upside down. In the ancient days, we didn't have that. We didn't have borders set up to where you had to, show that you could travel into this land or into that land. But even though you had different other lands that would figure out why you were doing there, what was the case or not. They don't know if he was an enemy at that time. But as far as you going from one land to the next land, you could do that. You get on horseback, camelback, donkey, wherever else you can get around. You was able to do that. Now, the modern day horses is what? These vehicles, these cars. And they asking you, do you have the credentials? So that's a form of slavery. So you still in slavery. And that's just one concept. There's many different concepts to show that you're in slavery. So getting back into Baruch. This is the extension of what we just read, and we let the bus go by. So Baruch 4 and 6 is an extension to Deuteronomy 28:68. I'm going to read that again from the top. It says, you were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath, meaning we didn't keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. We disobeyed the Heavenly Father. You were delivered unto the enemies. So now the scripture's telling you who we serve slavery under is our actual enemies, right? For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to the Most High. You have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. So we have done that. We have disobeyed our Heavenly Father. We have fallen under the so-called white man, which is our enemies, his ways of life, which are all wicked. We have fell unto the things that he says is we should be celebrating. These wicked holidays that our people celebrate from time to time. You got another wicked holiday coming up next month, and 4th of July, which is supposed to be the American Independence Day. Which in American Independence Day, when they received that, we were in slavery. You were under the white man's slavery at that time. So therefore, why would you celebrate that shit today? Why would you do that? Why would you say, okay, let's think back in time what was going on with my people during the 4th of July, during the independence? What I see straight across the street, they got an advertisement for a 4th of July parade. That's gonna be all over coming into the upcoming, in the next week or so. You're gonna see all type of stuff promoting 4th of July. And that's just one of many different holidays that our people what? Celebrate. Because our people, we just love a reason to throw a barbecue. Anything to throw some meat on the grill, some beer in our hands, that's a good celebration. Let's do it. But you're not knowing that that's one way that the so-called white man has put upon you to celebrate these things that are going against your Heavenly Father, going against Yahweh Shai, and you don't even know it. So we're gonna get into identifying who the so-called white man is. Who is he? But I got one more scripture before we get into that. I'm gonna jump down to from the 6th verse to the 25th verse. It says, Actually, I'm going to start at 24. It says, like as now, the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from our power, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting. So that's the times we're coming into. I've been coining this phrase, man, that we living in electrifying times, meaning the elect. The key word is the elect. The electrifying times. It's time where the Most High is going to show who his elect is. He's going to be there for his elect. He's going to bring more and more trials and tribulations and troubles on the earth, and he's going to be there for his elect. So these are electrifying times we live in. Why? Because we're closer to seeing this, what I just read. I'm going to read that again. It says, like us now, the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity. So the neighbors of Zion, that's talking about the other nations. The other nations, that they've seen our captivity. It says, so shall they shortly see your salvation. So let me read that part again. So shall they see shortly your salvation from our power, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting. And that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the fact that the Most High is going to put an end to this. He's going to put an end to the so-called white man ruling and you being slaves up underneath them. Let me ask you a question, my man. Do you know your nationality?
My nationality?
Yeah.
No.
Your biblical nationality?
My biblical?
Yeah.
10 Commandments.
No, the 10 Commandments are commandments. That's not a nationality. A nationality represents your heritage, where you're from.
Oh.
You know, your so-called your race. Mexican, right? But Mexican is not inside the Bible. So when I asked your biblical nationality, you had an actual nationality or the name for your nationality before the word Mexican was placed upon your people, which is right here on the sign. If you look right here, if you look at number 12, you see to the left side, these are the names that our people are being called today. This is your biblical nationality. So if your line goes back to the 12 tribes and you are indeed an Israelite, which the so-called Mexicans are, your real true biblical nationality is Issachar. Issachar. And your heritage, your history, your customs are written here in the scripture. You're part of the best nation on earth, which is God's chosen people. These 12 tribes right here, which these are the people here that they are known as today, they are the Most High's chosen people, which make up the 12 tribes, make up the nation of Israel. And see, the thing about it is, people don't know that. People don't know who their biblical nationality is. So if you don't know who you are as a people, you don't know who your enemy is, because you do have an enemy. Each member of this 12 tribes right here have one common enemy, and it's the so-called white man whose biblical name is Esau, Edom. He is the reason. He is the one who had put your people and my people in subjection under them, took over their heritage, took over their customs, and took over their history, and claimed it for himself. Have you ever been told that?
No. To be honest, it sounds like more of hate.
More of hate?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should sound more of hate. It should be hate coming from you. It should be hate. You should hate the condition your people in. Tell me why these people on this sign are in low conditions and other people on the earth ain't. It tells you in the scriptures why. It tells you clearly why. And what part of it is hate? I just out of curiosity, what part of it is hate?
Well, I hate the wrath.
Huh?
I hate the wrath. I hate the hatred. The hate of everything. Why are
Speak up a little. I can't even speak up.
Why are they killing other people, which they're also human beings? You know, it's not good.
So tell me this. Where did that hate come from?
It came from us, from the flesh.
From who is us? Because you got one people.
We are from the image of God, but also we have what we like. Basically, we're us. You know,
I'm
we
listening.
see things that are not clearly, you know. But I'm sorry if I'm not like understanding or
No,
something.
that's good. That's good. That's what I'm here for. So I got a question for you. So, do you think it's wrong to hate?
It's wrong to hate.
Yeah. So if you have an enemy, are you not supposed to hate that enemy?
You're not supposed to.
Okay. Let me ask you this then. Are you supposed to love a person who the Most High hates? Who's the enemy of the Most High?
You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to hate at all. Even you have to have your brethren. Even if your brethren hates you, you still don't hate.
That applies directly to anyone you see on this side. That don't go for all people on the earth. That only goes for your brother who's an Israelite. And truly, it goes for your brother in the faith.
It doesn't matter if it's Israel.
It does.
Anybody.
It does. Let me explain to you why. Okay. Do you know who King David was?
Yes.
Do you know that King David said that he hates those who hate the Most High? He hates them with a perfect hatred. And King David was a man after the Most High's own heart. He was the king of this nation. Do you know that the Most High?
Of course, but remember, not only that, he killed his right hand man, which is not good. It's also hatred, you know. He's the same.
You talking about Joab?
Yeah.
Why did he do that though?
Because he had sex with the wife. It's not
Because what?
You know the right hand man?
Yeah.
He's the one.
He had his
David
son.
had sexual relationship with the wife of the right hand man.
Oh, you.
And he decided.
No, you're getting them mixed up. You're getting them mixed up. It wasn't. That wasn't Joab's wife. You talking about the man who David sent to war?
Talking about David.
Yeah. That's not why Joab was put to death. Joab was put to death because he killed David's son. When David said not to let David didn't want his son killed, but he took upon himself to he got caught in the tree with his hair, and he threw them darts at him and killed him because he was a disobedient son. But
I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. You're getting the story mixed up, and you're getting the people mixed up. But the purpose is, David did a lot of things wrong. He committed adultery, which is the account that I believe that you're speaking on ultimately. But the point of the matter is, David lived to be an old age. The Most High punished David, but not according to the law that he broke. David was supposed to be put to death for committing adultery, right? But the Most High didn't. The Most High had mercy on David. But David was a righteous man. So, with that being said, when you read Psalms and you read what David wrote and the passion and love he had for the Most High, that's a man of the Lord. And all men, we all fault, right? We all do things wrong. But what David wrote in the Psalms, see, you have stories that was written about David, then you have what David wrote himself. And what David wrote himself, you ever read what part?
Psalms. I gotta read that.
When you read it, it'll tell you that.
All right.
But also, before you get out of here, the Most High hates the so-called white man. He hates him. Let's take a step back and not worry about what David said, even though David's account counts. But the Most High hates the so-called white man.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man.
I can read it for you.
I'm gonna check my Bible now.
Go ahead. All right.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. And that's the point, man. Our people, they don't know the things that they should know. And that proves that he's a Hebrew Israelite, because every time I said something about the so-called white man, he was shaking his head. He don't want to accept that. Our people are so much under the so-called white man that he didn't. I showed him on the sign where he sits. Excuse me. If indeed he is an Israelite, I showed him on the sign where he sits, and I showed him the people that's part of the nation that he's part of. He have no questions, or they didn't concern him. He didn't even care about that. Once you start talking about the so-called white man, that's when all bets are off when it comes to you Israelites. Because all you want to do is protect your enemy. All you want to do is protect those who hate you. The so-called white man hates your guts. You need to hate him back. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Let me get back to where I was before he came up. back in Baruch. So I'm gonna read the last verse again in Baruch that I read. I'm gonna just read the last part. It says like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from the Most High, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting, which is when Yahushua comes. That's the brightness that we're waiting for. That's the everlasting, because when Yahushua comes, he's going to set up the kingdom of heaven, which is an everlasting kingdom. Verse 25. It says, my children suffer patience. Matter of fact, man, let me read this real quick. Because when Yahushua comes back, that's the beginning of, because the scriptures say he's coming with healing in his wings. Yeah, he's going to save the elect, right? But at the same time, 2/3 of our people, he's bringing upon the purification of the 2/3 of our people. Whoever is numbered amongst the 2/3, you're gonna suffer a great death and judgment, but you're gonna be cleansed off. You're gonna be washed of all the wickedness, and you're gonna be purified, and you're gonna come into the kingdom of heaven, which is an everlasting kingdom for you, and you're gonna be rulers. Give me 1 second. This is Daniel 7, and I'm going to start at verse 14. This is, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, nations, languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. I'm going to jump to verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So when that kingdom comes, it's an everlasting kingdom. It ain't gonna never, ever, ever come out of power or go down. See, all these kingdoms and all these nations that had their time to rule, they have from one age to another age, ion, right? From the Greek ion, which means a time frame. Right? They had their rulership time, and it began and it ended. But this one is an everlasting, meaning the word end doesn't apply. Verse 23, back in Baruch, 4th chapter, verse 20, actually 25. It says, my children suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from the Most High. For thine enemy hath persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see the destruction and shall tread upon his neck. So, you treaded, speaking to you, the so-called white man right now, you treaded upon the Hebrew Israelites' necks for centuries. You treaded on our neck for so long that our people don't even recognize it, that they're the neck that's being treaded on. It's become second nature. You know, persecuted our people for so long that they don't know who the enemy is. They don't know who is ruling over them. They think that who's ruling over them is giving them things, is providing for them. You don't know that it's the Most High that provides for you. He also provides that ass whooping that the so-called white man is giving you. He's providing that you, because he's the Most High's whipping stick. He's the one that the Most High used to put you in check. He's who the Most High uses to torment our people, to rule over our people with the rod of iron, with a tyrant mindset. And our people are blind, just like the Jake that came up here. He got to get up out of here when you talking about my master too long. You talking about who my king is, because that's who the so-called white man thinks he is. He thinks he's the king. He thinks he's the Most High, and he thinks that our people are his. That he owns our people. It says, oh, but the point is, the scriptures say, you've been treading on the Israelites' necks But surely that's going to be reversed. Everything's going to be reversed. You're not going to be in a power seat no more. That's going to be reversed. You're not going to rule no more. That's going to be reversed. You're not going to be in your kingdom. You're going to be you're going to be in hell, right? You're going to be under the curses. The curse is going to go from us to you. That's going to be reversed. And then the treading upon the necks are going to be reversed. Your foot's going to come off the Israelites' necks, and our foot's going to come onto your neck. And that's just what it is, and that's just. That's righteous. And we can't wait for that. Verse 26, it says, my delicate ones have gone rough ways and were taken away as a flock caught of the enemies. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the Most High, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. So the Most High he's going to remember the nation of Israel. He's going to remember that he put us through all this, and he's going to allow us to put you through all this, so-called white man, Esau, Edom. You Edomites you're gonna suffer everything that you've seen us suffer, but you're gonna suffer it on a more higher magnitude. You're gonna suffer it 2 times more. You're gonna receive double of that. You're gonna drink the dregs of that cup of slavery, and you're gonna drink the bitterness parts of slavery. And that's gonna be from the beginning to the end of your slavery, which is gonna account for 1,000 years. Verse 28, for it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so be in return, seek him 10 times more. For he that had brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy again with your salvation. And we can't wait for that, man. Brothers in the spirit can't wait for that. Can't wait for the Most High to give us that salvation, give us that everlasting rulership. But I brought this out for a purpose, man. So now we're going to start identifying who the wicked is. Because you have an enemy. We just read in Baruch. We read in Baruch, the 4th chapter. We read in Deuteronomy 28 and 68 that there's an enemy on the earth. So let's identify who the enemy is. Because the scriptures say he's the wicked. Get a couple scriptures. This is Ecclesiastes. Actually, I'm going to hold this and I'm going to go into Malachi. This is Malachi 1:1. It says the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. So you Israelites, you need to hear this. This is pertaining to you. This information must hear. This must-hear reading that needs to go into your mind so you can know. He's talking. The Most High is talking to Israel. He ain't talking to the other nations. It says, "I have loved you," said the Lord. "Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?" Now, why is our people saying that? Because our people are in such bad, rough, tough conditions, man. Like the scripture said in Baruch, we have went rough ways. The ways that are rough upon us is the things that we suffer from. Our people, one of the things is our people just walking around not knowing who they are, defending the enemy.